Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about box plots, and I'm going to go through two examples from taking a data set and making it into a box plot. So today we'll mostly focus on actually constructing box plots from a data set. So here it says to make a box plot using the following data set. So in order to make a box plot, there are 5 things that we need to figure out from this data set. The first one is the minimum. The second one is the maximum. The third one is the median. The fourth one is Q1, or also known as lower quartile. And the last one is Q3, also known as upper quartile. All right, so first let's start with the minimum and the maximum. So minimum just means the smallest number in the set, which is 4. Maximum just means the largest number in the set, which is 7. So those two are pretty simple. Median means the middle number. So whenever there's an odd number of terms, there's just going to be one middle number. In the next example, I'll talk about how to deal with it if there's more than one middle term, right? If what to do then. But for this one, there's just going to be one middle term. And that middle term is 6, because notice there's 2 numbers to the right of 6 and 2 numbers to the left of 6. I know that this one also is 6, but that doesn't matter. That is fine. That is acceptable. 6, this 6 here specifically, is still our middle term. And so that would be our median. All right, and then what about Q1 and Q3? What do those things mean? So Q1 is the median of the lower half of the data, and Q3 is the median of the upper half of the data. Now in this case, there's only 5 data points, and so in this situation here, we actually don't have a middle number necessarily, because we have 2 numbers for each of these. And so what if we have 2 numbers, or 2 middle numbers in general? Well, then we go halfway in between those numbers, or take the average of those numbers. So halfway between 4 and 5 would be 4.5, or 4.5. So that's going to be my Q1. And then my Q3 is going to be halfway between 6 and 7. So that is 6.5. So Q3 is 6.5. All right, so now that we have all the numbers, I'm going to draw my box plot. So to do that, I'm just going to start by just drawing a number line with numbers from 0 to 10. Then I'm going to first locate the median. So median was 6, we said. So I'm going to put a line here at the median. Then Q1 is 4.5, so I'm going to put another line halfway between 4 and 5. Then Q3 is 6.5, so I'm going to put another line right here, halfway between 6 and 7. And then the minimum was 4, so I'm going to put a dot at 4. And the maximum was 7, so I'm also going to put a dot at 7. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to connect these. So I'm going to connect the boxes on the box plot like that. And I'm also going to connect them to the dots. And so in the end, we have a dot or a box plot that looks like this. And so we can clearly see here, minimum is 4, max is 7, median is 6, Q1 is 4.5, and Q3 is 6.5. All right, so I'm going to go through one more example, one more slightly more complicated example with this more complicated data set. So here it says the following data set shows the number of cookies purchased each day. Draw a box plot to represent this data. So before I think about drawing that box plot, I first need to know the key things about the box plot. So first I need to find the minimum, the maximum, the median, Q1 or lower quartile, and Q3 or upper quartile. So in this case, I'm going to start by just counting up how many numbers there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so if there's 12 numbers, that's an even amount. That means there's going to actually be 2 different middle numbers. And those numbers, because we have 12, are going to be the 6th number and the 7th number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 number is this one here, this 7. And then the 7th number is this number here, which is 8. And notice that we have 5 numbers above this and also 5 numbers below this as well. And so that tells us that yes, we chose the correct 2 numbers to use for the median. So sometimes for the median, like if we have an even number of values in our data set, there will just be one number and that's just the median. But in the case where we have 2 numbers, like in this example, we go halfway between them, or we find the average of them is the other way. So we can add them up and divide by 2, or if we already know what number is halfway between them, we can just write that number. So in this case, halfway between 7 and 8, we just know is 7.5. However, another correct way of doing it would be to say, well, we can do 7 plus 8 over 2, which is 15 over 2. And if we use a calculator, we get that that's 7.5 or 7.5. Or we could argue that 2 times 7 is 14, with 1 remaining would make it 7 and 1 remaining out of 2, which is also 7.5 or 7.5. And so there we go. Next, let's talk about min and max, because actually those are probably easiest of all. Minimum is just smallest number, which is 4. Maximum is largest number, which is 12. So there we go. Then what about Q1 and Q3? The first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to underline the top half of the data set with purple, and I'm going to underline the bottom half of the data set with red. And we're going to find the median of each of these two. So in that first half of the data set there, we have 6 numbers. And so the middle 2 numbers are going to be the 3rd number and the 4th number. Because notice that we have 2 above and 2 below. In this case, we want to know, okay, what number is halfway between 5 and 5? Since these middle numbers are the same, it's just going to be 5. Then for Q3, same deal, right? It's going to be the 3rd and 4th number here as well with respect to this second half. So what is halfway between 8 and 10? That would be 9. Or if we weren't sure that that was halfway, we could also add 8 plus 10 to get 18 and divide that by 2, which is also 9, which would also work. So Q3 is 9. All right, next I'm going to actually make the box plot and draw the number line. So first thing I'm going to do is median is 7.5, so exactly halfway between 7 and 8. I'll draw a line for the median. Q1 is 5, so I'm going to draw a line there for Q1. Q3 is 9, so I'll draw a line there for 9. Then the minimum is 4, so I'll be drawing a dot at 4. Maximum is 12, so I'll be drawing another dot at 12. And then I'm just going to draw some lines to connect my boxes, and then draw some more lines to connect my dots. And there we go. That is our box plot. As always, if you do have any questions, feel free to leave those down in the comment section, and we'll see you for the next one.